It's running.
Okay. I'm going to call this special meeting of the Vernon Park Board to order at 6:32 p.m. Okay. In attendance, Davey Shaw, Mrs. Gosman, Mayor Bender, and myself, and Wayne will be joining us shortly. Okay. So I handed out a few things. Brad, if you want to take a peek too. I have to admit I struggled with the Google Docs quite a bit. I don't know if that's just my age or just because I use Word too much, but I exported the document, I put it in a Word document, and then I reformatted it. Not that we need to leave it in that format, but I just thought it was easier to digest for editing the content, right? So reading through it. I removed the appendix as well, since that's all stuff we know about and that's already set firm. But I did highlight throughout the areas that Haley had left for us to do or to complete content for. They're certainly not limited to those things, but you'll see some sections highlighted that we still need to develop content for. So there's that. I also emailed a copy to the group, so from here on out, feel free to whatever works for you. We have a few things to go through tonight. I'm just going to go over what agenda items I had, and then we can get started, and of course we can add whatever the group wants. We need to elect a vice president and a secretary. That is a requirement of the plan submission to DNR. We can talk about what those responsibilities are, but tonight we at least need to say, have an election. We need to nominate and elect a vice president and secretary. The items I had for us to work on the plan were the contact information. That's on the first or second page. I also wanted to go through any initial edits anyone had if they read through and said, this line, this section, et cetera, we can go through that and note that in one of the hard copies, and I'll keep that for our records. The other two big items are the action plan, which is, there's a second handout I had that had our priorities, and then if you flip over to that second page, DNR has a specific format for the action plan, so they want dates, items, approximate costs, etc. So go through that quickly to figure out a plan for that. And then the other main section that we're still missing is the potential funding sources section towards the end of the document. So that's kind of what I had on slated for tonight's discussion. Is there anything anyone wants to add? Okay.
You're on the right track.
All right. So Brad, we were talking, you are going to work with Mary Jo and Amber to find that originating ordinance, is that correct? And that's somewhere in the office, we'll get that.
Yep.
And then we talked about the ADA compliance sign-off sheet.
Yeah.
And is that just an assessment, current assessment, or do we have to certify, are we certifying that we are to code, or is that T?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I'll sign.
But you'll look at that, okay.
It's not a big deal.
Okay, let's skip the election piece because I want Wayne to be here. I think all four of us need to be here. Okay, contact information. One of the requirements is that we have basic contact information for the board members. On that first page, you'll see we're listed. We need phone numbers, emails, addresses. I'm tempted to put the mailing address as the Park and Rec address as well.
For everyone?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know that DNR wants our personal information, and not to mention it's a public document.
No. Well, I was going to fill that out on the Google Doc, but I wasn't sure if you wanted our personal address.
I think having our email addresses might be helpful.
Yeah.
But the phone and address, it's my inclination to put the park office. So.
I think on all of them, to be honest, don't put any address. just put phone and email.
Like our personal phone numbers, or do you want like the office?
If you don't want your cell phone or something out there, don't put it.
Oh, I don't mind, I was just curious what you.
But for address, I just wouldn't put it. I just wouldn't. It's just my opinion. You've got to address the same address up above for everything. So that's where it needs to be directed. Oh, I do see something on that page that needs, we are not a third class city.
Okay.
Need to strike that.
Yeah.
See it on that page?
I'm sure it is.
Citizens.
We're not. Well, she had that in there in another part, that's part one of the edits.
Well, I don't remember the population requirements, but there are classes of city in Indiana code. I don't know which one.
Yeah, but we're not, we're a town.
It's true.
We're not, yeah, we're not in any of the city class, so.
Okay. So Wayne, just a quick recap. We were going through the to-do list. I printed out and emailed as well, which looks like you printed the original. That's just a consolidated version of what's in the master plan that Haley produced. And I did that for my own, it's much easier for me to digest and kind of go in there and edit stuff that way versus the way it was. Plus I just could not with Google Docs for whatever reason. So I printed that off and I removed the appendix since that's already fixed, and then just exhibits will include, because we're not changing those. And I did highlight the information that Haley had as to the list items. So, real quick, the agenda for tonight. We need to elect a vice president and secretary for the board. That's a requirement of the plan. Right now we're talking about contact information on that front page. We also need to talk about any edits, additional edits anyone has for the plan. And then the two main content items we need to produce are an action plan, which is that second handout, and then a potential funding source section to talk about different grants, et cetera, et cetera. So we put off the election piece until you arrive. But right now we're talking about that contact information. So far we've decided that if we do put an address, we're going to put the park and recreation address, but then we can do, are you taking off?
Probably in a minute or two.
Okay.
I'll wait till you're.
Well, if you want, you can put your personal phone, but I was also going to use the town phone and then maybe personally email address. I don't think, depending on what you're comfortable with. I didn't want to put my personal mail address or phone number. This is a public document.
So the other thing too, Brad, is I thought, I brought it up before that because when there's transition of like people on the board, on the town board, on the mayor's position, that there probably needs to be like an email that's mayor@townofvernon.in.gov, so that way when someone steps out, like those emails can go to somewhere, and maybe we have something else like, park board at Town of Vernon.
We had a park board at Town of Vernon, but I think we were capped at a number of emails and we used them up and had to take it
Okay.
out and use it for, I don't remember exactly why now.
Cap the number of emails. Huh?
Yeah, we're in a we're through Google Workspace and we're
Okay.
limited to
Because we
6 or 8.
I still have my town email, which I
No, you shouldn't.
do.
You can access
Checked
it.
today.
Well, I almost emailed it to you.
Well, then we need it because that's one of them we can assign to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
still getting,
I didn't know that. I thought.
Is it sent and received? Like if you get spam, does that count toward your total?
It gets the address.
No, you were saying you have it. Oh, you meant the number of files.
Yeah, number of addresses.
I misunderstood you.
That's what I'm saying. We're capped at so many addresses.
But
But I thought Amber and I deleted yours
That's what I thought.
some time ago, and that was.
you can only right now, and I just,
All right,
It's
well,
all set.
that's something we need to look into.
yeah, Jeff sent me something at 9/11 this morning, so I asked him.
Okay, well, then we need to fix it.
Could that be the park board email?
That's what, if we got rid of it, that could be.
Sorry.
No, that's okay, I mean, I have less emails that
Yeah, no.
I mean, I got so many email accounts, my military, my personal, my office, this,
Mhm.
like,
The same.
yeah. But be good rollover transition, because there were things.
A
that
lot of other places
Dan
do it
Wright
that
had
way.
emailed to him personally, and I get it too, 'cause I mean, it's in, like sometimes your personal emails are what you're checking every other hour anyway, so.
Okay. So then, we're gonna have that as the,
How's your trip? Is it,
we'll have that as
Fantastic.
the board email there for everyone? Is that, okay. And so the phone will be the office? Same with the address?
Pay him or something.
Okay, well, I'm gonna get out of here, if you don't need anything else from me.
I don't think so.
When you get to putting this back together, I can help, I think. I mean, I've got a PDF program that allows you to move and do all kinds of things after it's done at work.
Yeah, once the content's in there, then we can.
Exactly, whether it's pictures or, I can keep the pages she had as page separators that are already done, so we don't have to recreate that kind of thing. They're already there.
Oh, I see. They
Like,
just won't, they
Chapter
probably
4
won't-
had a picture and said chapter 4 history or
They might not
whatever.
line up with the content page though at that point.
Well, the index won't anymore, but that should still fit in like it.
Okay. Well, I figured that would be our last step.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, I can help you with a lot of that.
Okay. And I haven't looked through all the photos, maps, etc., but. are
Somebody's
you-
gonna have to go start picking.
Do you feel like there's enough there, or do you have access to that?
I think the photos you've got are good in there already. The map is where there's no map yet.
There's no map.
There is no map.
You would have a map.
Well, we have some, but they're not the most, I'm gonna say,
High resolution.
no. They're very basic. They're maps, there's nothing wrong with them, but they don't have the shaded colors and the features that you want to see in a lot of these.
Some park properties.
I mean, it's just not
What would that cost us? Does somebody do that as part of the renderings for projects, stuff like that?
we just need somebody, has some time, that has a illustrator, something like that can do a little more to it than what plain Jane map. So anyway, that's
Before you go, look at this one more time, if you would. So we're asked to estimate costs for all of those things.
yeah, I don't know.
And on the next page is the table the DNR wants us to use. That's your business. Do you know who could approximate some of that stuff for? I don't know that they're gonna hold us to the dollar amount, but we need to have a ballpark.
Oh, I can do that. That's all.
So tonight, we'll set a priority list and a timeline,
Yeah, you guys figure that out.
and you maybe can work on the dollar amounts?
I can do all of that. That's not.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not a problem. And that, I think I mentioned in my email, I mean, more tables, more bullet points in this thing when it's all said and done. That's a good example of, right there, one that ought to be some kind of a table. Could even be done in Excel and then transferred in, all that good stuff.
Okay. Thank you.
And I mentioned too, do you want to include the inventory that we have done? So that's something it'll be an appendix item.
Yeah? I will,
I mean, I kind of thought, like,
I'm trying to remember what all is included in the content of that. Is it description of the location and then approximate value of all the equipment?
yeah, date of original installation, approximate cost of, new cost, replacement cost.
Upkeep cost, I think, is on there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so just something, I mean, again, to kind of show that it's,
Summary of what we got.
sure, summary of what you got.
Okay.
All right,
Thank you.
well, you guys let me know, I will be gone next week. Actually, I leave Friday and go next week, but,
Early Friday as well.
again?
Yep.
You're probably going to work this time.
I am.
Yeah.
Look, just, I think everyone that's like all the email traffic has also been through my town, so I just, need,
See, I thought we had already.
yeah.
I sent one to your expert eye care.
One other thing,
Is that expert eye care?
one other thing,
You have lunch.
one other thing, go to the Vernon hometown homepage, get your Rusty Bladen tickets for Black Friday. It pops right up on the homepage.
I know why I'm not going to that. We have Thanksgiving that day.
Oh, Friday.
Yeah, we do it every Black Friday.
Gotcha. But anyway, but help pass the word, get people involved.
I will.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, diesel one, expert eye care.
All right, thank you.
Is that email address?
And Davey's gonna take care of that.
Yeah.
Would you rather we have it?
No, that'd probably be the one you use, but like most of the traffic with Haley and through him and like my access to Google Docs is through the town.
That was my default.
And there's a reason is because there's a lot of random stuff that you don't know, like someone has your email until they send you something and then we didn't want him to miss some, some sort of deadline because it got sent to an email that I don't check anything, so I still check it on email pretty regularly. Mainly for this stuff actually, but,
I'll send you the
okay.
Okay. So we skipped around a lot there, but, so we've decided what we're gonna do for contact information. The next thing, I think we need to go back and we need to nominate a VP and a secretary. Again, we don't have to define their responsibilities tonight if we don't know them, but we at least need that so we can put it in the plan. I don't have a strong sense of, I don't know if anyone wants to nominate anyone or someone's.
I would gladly be the secretary, but you have to be like patient. I've never done
Okay,
that before, but
that's a
I
start.
will.
Well,
I
I'll
don't
nominate
mind.
Carrie to be the secretary. Davey seconds it, all those in favor?
Alright. Dave, you want to be our vice president? You want me to? I don't care.
Probably, yeah. You know, a little bit more what to do than.
Alright, I'm happily do that, someone wants to nominate, make that motion.
Hold on just a second. Davey seconds.
What about that one?
Okay. Davey, did you nominate Wayne for the?
I nominate Wayne for vice president.
I'll second.
Carrie seconds, all those in favor?
Uh,
Motion prevails. All right.
I wrote most of this, very quickly. Am I missing something, or where's the actual plan?
Well, that's what I was talking about. That action plan is, that's what this is.
Okay.
And that's part of our discussion.
I was curious, like,
Because, there's a lot of stuff in here.
Well,
because
pretty
it
much
really
almost
stated
almost
what
like
we're
background
gonna
of
do or what we want.
Story, it was like,
That's at the very end.
Okay.
That's, so it's actually the second or third, it's the third page from the back. Priorities and action schedule. So she had a little bit of an introduction there for the action schedule and priorities. This second handout is what we need to do tonight. That first page, those are the priorities that we established in that last meeting for each property. And then that second page is DNR's requirements for us. So we've got to decide, I think it makes the most sense for us to look at that list, decide which one's first through 10th or 12th, and then figure out what year we think we should do that. Just like it has it in that example schedule there on the second page.
Yeah.
And then We can skip to that if you guys wanna look at that now.
Need of,
Yeah.
right?
Yep. So Haley did say, she listed our current priorities as finding new sources of funding for the parks, increasing safety and signage, creating opportunities for programming, defining existing spaces, repurposing spaces that are underutilized, improving access to the river, increasing the amount of amenities for kayaking, organizing community events, development of the art history park, installing the necessary utilities and lighting in all parks and facilities, and ensuring ADA compliance. And that summary came from that first page, what we passed in the last couple of meetings.
I thought we put them in order.
Priority?
Yeah, is this the order?
I don't think we had a priority order. I'm hoping that's what we do now. The utilities, I think, are high on that list. Signage and utilities in my mind, I mean, that's just a low-hanging fruit that we could knock out. It wouldn't take, I mean, it's pretty straightforward.
I think because signage is something that shows up in pretty much every category. I mean, even the Commons has fairly new signage, right? I think mimicking that style and like for branding reasons, like it just all looks harmonious. And we had that car accident by our house where if you notice the red brick pillars have been taken down and then they put up the stone.
I thought you were talking about another one.
Yeah, no.
God.
But that's, I think that's kind of the common theme, you know, it's what we used out here, or at the Commons, it matches the walls that we did here and that. I think that was the direction that they wanted to go, so.
Yeah.
So when we say signage, are we designing a sign, or are we just saying, hey, we want
I think the way we talked about it, my takeaway was, like you said, we're gonna unify the signage amongst the properties, be consistent. But to label it. I mean, you go over to the quote-unquote art history park, you don't know that's what it is. It's just like an open area.
in the dog park?
Yeah, right. It's a safe assumption based on what's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think just establishing signage, period.
Yes. I would put that at one.
Okay.
We still want to run into the yellow sign as well, so we can start replacing the bricks with stone.
So we had policy.
Gotta get that first sign up first. Establishing signage, matching. Okay, that's our top priority. What about utilities? We need that at the well, we have it at the restroom. We'll actually have data down there as well.
It's kind of asked for utilities, so this
Electricity,
is it not electricity?
At the Commons,
I don't know that it's,
which facility are you talking about?
all of them.
Oh, yeah, I think even at the Commons, even though we put the new bathroom in there, I don't think we put like water.
Yeah, so-
We didn't put water, like. no,
There's
we
there's
didn't-
a faucet there.
There's a faucet, there's water, obviously, for bathrooms, but we didn't put an outdoor spigot for some reason.
There is a hose connection, and it's
Yeah.
but I don't know. It's on the, I mean, if you're on the street, it's on the other side of the structure. That's there, but I don't know that there is a light hole in there, it's in the middle. But I don't think there's outlets, like, if we had an event down there, I think people would run generators.
Right, that's, yeah, so I'm not sure why we just didn't put an exterior outlet on that. Forward thinking design.
But there's nothing that I can recall with lighting.
No, I don't think there is lighting on the shelter house, is there?
No,
It's just that pole light that's by your dog sign. Dogs and birds.
mine.
Right.
Yeah, so I think like all of them, that should be like a priority. Even if we do all these other renovations, like hosting, like programming or events or anything, like it's, we do all this other stuff.
So I'll put 2 as utilities, and the type of utility will depend on the property, but you can list these below. Okay, so I'm just going through each property. We've got lighting and the utilities, signage, lighting, utilities, signage. I don't know how we would do that in the alleyway, but I'm sure it's possible. Okay, the next common theme I'm seeing is landscaping, beautification. I don't know if there's much to do here in the structure, but we'll need that in both of the street. Now that I'm thinking of it, depending on what we put there, the landscaping will change. I really think that playground equipment is to the point where it is becoming, well, I don't want to say it's dangerous, but I think it will only continue to get worse in condition.
And more hazardous.
And that's just such, I mean, playground equipment's pretty standard for a park.
Right.
But I don't know if we're wanting to start doing more stuff down there, more kids are gonna be playing in that area, so you don't want
I don't
crappy
think
stuff
it
that
goes
they can
that
get
far.
hurt on.
No,
You want,
I don't want the kids to go that far.
oh, yeah.
because of the equipment specifically.
Yeah, yeah, because some of it is unsafe.
Oh, really?
Well,
I'm gonna look tomorrow on that.
there's some fasteners that we can use.
Yeah. We let Cecilia play on it while we were fixing the basketball goals, and she cut it right on one of the fasteners. She wasn't paying attention.
And I also feel like playground equipment grants would be something that's pretty common too.
Well, either that, or we could have found some secondhand.
So we bumped up that to like higher priority. I mean, signage for the commons, I mean, that's not, that doesn't even have to be done, there is signage there.
Right.
So we make playground equipment like more of a priority.
Well, so I was, in my mind, I'm looking at that DNR example, so like for the first thing they have listed there, if you look at that second page, they have for all sites, and I was gonna put
The
signage, et cetera,
Signage, yeah.
like we talked about. And then for the second one, maybe we could put the utility piece. And then, I mean, we're also listing a year, they don't have to be, it doesn't have to be 20, 25, 26, 27, but we can call out a specific property. Does it make sense to put the commons playground equipment as our third item in that
Yeah.
priority list? The other thing, as far as the timeline, I'm just thinking, any boat ramps or
Mm-hmm.
kayak stuff would have to be on that.
Yeah, programs like River Walk or whatever we're doing down at the base there, we just really don't want to invest in anything like that.
I'm surprised that they would take that long to do that. Okay. Just looking at the easy stuff at the commons again, I think.
Redefine the space.
Yeah, I was looking at that one. That's pretty easy. It's pretty easy for
Remove the dog sign.
the sign and maybe the ladder.
Do
That
we
can
want
be
to,
done pretty
do
quickly.
we want to return the sign to perceptions?
Is that working?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
That way we don't have to deal with.
That could be a 26 item, right?
Yeah.
2026. Signage could be a 26 item. Well, I don't, we have to acquire funding. Maybe we can work, let's get our priorities and then we can work on that.
Yeah.
So are we putting the cleanup in the commons, is that gonna be our number 4? Grass cleanup. Sign. And,
Is that gonna be the top part of the commons?
yeah, that would be outside of the workspace for the project, because it's up on it's before you go down in the door.
That's somewhere on there.
It's under commons, under redefining space, remove sign and library.
Okay.
The roadways and the parking timber bollards, that will have to wait until after the red project.
So with the tennis court and the golf ball.
Yeah. Well, that might go with a lot with this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could we almost just set up the, like, temporarily, in case it does get close to where they're working at, set up a basketball court to have pickleball set up? Doesn't mean like, the occasional times they get out, there's not many times people are playing basketball, especially
I
in the
never,
Vernon
I
gym.
rarely see people playing basketball. I'm not gonna say I don't, but it's more often than not I don't.
So it wouldn't be bad to set up something for pickleball.
You could find it, I mean, the Macintoshes do it, I mean, they bring out one of those temporary nets, and
Mhm.
I think a lot of people, more and more people have those.
Yeah, they have the retractable ones that we could put on the sides that you can hold for the net.
Yeah, you just, yeah,
Mhm.
so,
That might be a little cheaper than having to pour out a whole new, pad and everything like that, because it's, I mean,
Yeah. And we can see
occasionally
how-
there will be shared space, people wanting to play pickleball and playing basketball, but I doubt that will happen very often.
Yeah.
We could do something like that and leave a temporary net down there,
Mhm.
see how much it's used. And
Yeah.
do you think that, offends Harmon Construction who donated that for the basketball court?
Well, if we're not destroying it, so we don't have this.
Taking out anything.
So always place it, they tell them we're not drilling holes into it to create anything permanent.
But if this place becomes, I have a couple of thoughts, if this place becomes as popular as utilized as we think, there probably will be a conflict of having both on the same space.
So at that point, we would see that pickleball is worth getting a whole nother pad
Yeah.
for. Otherwise, we're just creating a whole nother pad and wasting a couple grand just for something that might not get used again.
Fair point. I would just say that we contemplated the need for it and decided that a pickleball tennis court was a priority for our plan. Now we're suggesting we don't know how necessary it is.
Correct. I mean, it's sort of
So if we're gonna tell
counterproductive.
DNR, hey, we change that to a, like what we discussed, a modified pickleball net on the existing, I mean, that's fine too. I don't want to wishy-washy. If this is a
We put
priority,
in the plan, but how we get there, like if we get there by doing this first and then at least it's in the plan.
Because I mean, if we can get a grant for it, then another pad is gonna be paid for, that's fine, but at that.
well, that's the reality of what we're gonna do. Unless you guys know.
So some of these things, though, even though we're itemizing these on some priority, like the patronage grant when we did this bathroom for, we did that like in a hurry and then like the funding happened. So that's a grant through, so we just have so many different things like, housing and rural affairs, Department of Housing and Rural Affairs, I think is what it is. And it's the patronage program where it's creating places. Creating is create and then capital IN for like Indiana create, and it's 50-50 matching. But what they're gonna wanna see is like, a full space stuff. Like so if we're deciding we're gonna do art and history park, we run a campaign, like a 90-day campaign to raise funds, and it's 50-50 matching. So we would want our budget not to be like, all right, what's signage across to all of our parks? Like if we're gonna design a space at Art and History Park, like what's the walkway, what is the gazebo, what are utilities, what's the signage, because we're gonna create a new public space here. And then we say, and then you do it, like I said, a 45-day campaign and try and fund that space. So I get trying to like say, all right, we wanna maybe prioritize this, or then over here, or all of these, but when it comes to grant writing, like, some of it, like, if we utilize that program, which is build and match it, and
It's organized.
I had to send 3 pictures when we did this bathroom. She said, all right, we're done, send us 3 pictures, fill out, like, answer, like, 5 questions on how this changed your space, who's gonna use it, how much is it being used already, and send it in, and it took a half hour.
I don't know that they hold us to the list we put together, the timeframe. I'm not sure how that works. If funding or a project like you described comes up beforehand. But I think we're within our rights to organize this however we want. If we want to call out a particular property and do like that and say, you know, hey, the Arts and History Park is a priority and this is what we want to do there, and I think we can.
Just piece it together, like,
Yeah.
pull it out of our,
It's whatever
our
we want
master
to do.
is.
We just need to signal to DNR and anyone that reads this is what we'd like to do, when we'd like to do it, we think it'll cost this much. But I don't, like I said, I think if a grant comes along and it includes something we didn't have listed as a top priority, I don't think it would be barred from applying.
Okay.
I would hope not. Say, oh, well, that's not their plan. Okay, on the top of that page is kind of their narrative. State the priorities. Okay, that's where we run into this. And I think this is just our opportunity to say this is what we'd like to do and when we'd like to do it. So if we want to focus on the arts, and I know that was just something that we had. If we want to focus on one of the properties, I say let's go for it. I don't have a. I was just thinking of the stuff that's basic and just signage. I mean, that's just so. That's a low bar. I think we can
Yeah.
get done pretty easy. I think there's a tangible, immediate benefit. Oh wow, that's people know what they're called. Like you said, we have matching signage across town. People drive by that thing all day, they'll know about it, it'll, awareness for it will increase. I think that's a bigger priority than starting out with a gazebo right away kind of thing.
Yeah. What's next? So,
barbecue grills, is that doesn't seem high on my list, but I think it'd be nice, I guess.
Very nice.
It'd be a low thing to grab.
It would be, because, yeah, I mean, they're a couple $100, and we're not looking at putting 8 or 10 after everything, but a couple.
We could even ask Mr. Petrick if they have any old ones that we can just refurbish.
Right.
I mean, if they're just super rusty, I can see if Sean wants to sandblast them and just have something done with them, and then just put ones in.
Yeah.
It's not too hard to do.
So let's go back one step if we can. Are we still committed to a temporary pickleball solution? Is that a step on our plan? Or do
Like I
we-
said, I think we put it in our master plan to have its own facility, but if we even, like, if that's priority number 7, in the meantime, I think it's something like us getting the, like, the mold and nets, and that would be
Yes.
something that we could do in the meantime, if we want to offer
Right.
that.
We won't list the temporary on the plan. Okay. So, this is what I have. You tell me if I've listed them wrong. Number 1 is, our first item would be establishing matching signage across all properties. Number 2 is bringing utilities up to a basic standard, whether that be lighting or electricity/water across all properties. Then number 3, specifically at the commons, we're going to update, enhance the playground equipment. And then number 4, at the commons, or we can do it for both the art park and commons, is grounds cleanup, remove sign and elaborate. Are we all on the same page there?
Yeah.
Okay. For just the commons or both? The arts park and the commons, as far as landscaping?
I say both.
Yeah, because that path needs to be redone, and well, that kind of goes along with figuring out, defining the boundaries.
Yeah.
Because why do we need to figure out where the alleyway is to move the benches and path and everything else to where it needs to be.
So we'll put, as part of number 4, we'll have commons and art park. Grounds cleanup. Establish boundaries.
I guess
Yeah, 'cause
established paths kind of goes with,
Path.
landscaping, sort of, like paths, landscape, boundaries, all in one, really.
But I'm telling you, if we did a survey of that arts park, I think the folks along, what's that, Pike Street are going to be surprised how close they are to that. That this, I mean,
there's not infringement on.
And I think we need to define that.
yeah. It's going to be a hard conversation, but I think
It
you're
is.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But it's better now than whenever they keep on, if they keep on
Building
creeping closer,
extension.
closer, yeah.
Keep on creeping on.
Okay, what's number 5? What's our, well, let's look at the Waters Rec Center.
I think 5 is been refurbishing, I think bathrooms. I think some stuff is happening now. Like that room, Amber and I just met to finish that room. We have furniture coming. There's a lot of stuff that's happening like right now, like refurbishing these rooms for rent and use.
Bathrooms seem like such a basic necessity.
It needs it here,
It needs
and there's
it
so
now.
many things that need, like Jeff's hosted that race every year. And he does a really good job with it, but it's only generating, like after he pays for all the stuff, like the t-shirts and everything, he's bringing in $1,500 or $2,000 a year. The last estimate we had just updated is 95-ish.
For both or just
For
one?
both. Which it doesn't sound terrible, but
Not for what that needs.
for relatively $100,000, but we've, in a few years, we've raised like $8,000.
Is that plumbing, fixtures, everything?
Yeah, everything. So ADA, stalls, ADA stuff. So I guess when you're in the ladies' room and you sit in there, they say they can't even shut the door because their knees get
Oh, no, you can't shut the doors.
So,
When kids stalls.
Yeah, they're just like,
I don't even, do any of the stalls in the men's room work, actually?
I've gone in there in years.
It's definitely a challenge to use the bathroom.
Yeah. Well, let's put that at least at number 5,
yeah,
bathrooms.
because I know that's a priority for the town, not just the park board.
Yeah, the more accommodating this facility, obviously, the more.
I think, I don't know if Brad was upfront about it, but there's some things going on with our utilities potentially where I think we're asking the town to just pony up some things. Whether yes, it's great to get a grant, there's some things that we should, Brad gets some things accomplished here, but we'll have some money to do some bigger things like, all right, the town can pay for this. So, yes, it's always grants, but
Well, that's the second part of this conversation. DNR wants to know what our potential sources are of funding. And if the city, or the town is part of the equation, that'll be good, because they mentioned a couple times, you can't just list grants. They want some, whether it be tax dollars or bonding, etc. Okay, number 5 is bathrooms.
One thing I do have, we talked last week about park board isn't actually in control of our rec center yet, so would it, because it's still under kind of control, are we speculating that it's going to eventually become under park?
That's the long-term intention, is to have all of those properties included in this facility, but when the park board's like a year old, that's fine. So I think the idea was just to,
not if we want the park board, That is-
because at the time, we're talking about all these, the rental space, all that stuff, and it's a newly formed board. But for the purpose of planning, I think we should most certainly put it on our 5-year plan. But that doesn't mean the park board's going to be running the schedule,
Yeah.
mowing all the grass, and et cetera, et cetera. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. For me, the ventilation is a huge priority here.
Yes.
It's untenable here in the summer.
Yeah, compartmentalizing some of the HVAC systems allow the rooms to still be used, but the facility itself.
Even if it was just fan vented,
Yeah.
pulling in outside air. The only thing worse than that, we don't do this
There's
bad.
something going on.
Mm-hmm.
There's a raccoon. There's probably-
You can use it, you just can't, you gotta,
Cover?
it's a struggle in some of those.
It is.
All right, so ventilation's number 6. It's gonna be pricey, I imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Our quote was $450,000. And
Was
that
that
was
the-
2 years ago, a year and a half ago.
Was that for AC, or was that just to put in some?
Like the heating, air ducts, like all of the whole system. Coke Mechanical had just done something up in South Dearborn, or they just done
Yeah.
a very similar facility, and they're like, without like doing all the specs, like this reminds us of this property that we just did, and this is what their cost was. In that 455, he gave us 2 options, like 450 and 550 roughly, so.
Pretty nice.
Maybe think about how nice it would be. Wow, that's a lot of money.
They're normally on the lower side of estimates too, when they do bidding.
Are you suggesting the final price is a little different?
No.
Oh, you there?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. My husband works for Coke.
Does it?
Then after that, I think then it's just a crapshoot a little bit when we start looking at a gazebo at one park, or pickleball court at another, or the kitchen here. I think they're all equally good ideas and projects. It's just like, which one do we want to
Yeah.
put first?
Well, I think the lower part of the commons is still in the picture. pickleball court, gazebo, or concession area here? I think with funding in mind, the concession area here would be,
When we say concession area, like, I guess during events, like we're having church league basketball here, I would just have thought concession area would run out of the kitchen.
Yeah, I thought those two would kind of
It would be
combine.
kind of the same thing.
so what is it, like a little shop you walk in and you got shelves and where do
Well,
Why
Like
do
a
they use the half
window and a
door?
counter,
yeah,
and then everything behind you.
Yeah.
yeah, that's the way, whenever I was in Vernon Baptist and they did, they just had like a bar area between the kitchen and outside area. You couldn't go back into the kitchen and they just had a list of things on there. It's like, okay, I want this, and you bring it out to you.
Well, did we also talk about that space being used as a commercial prep kitchen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't wanna,
Well, but it's like, you would just be like
Yeah,
temporary,
something.
whatever those programs that are running bring in. I wouldn't say that I wouldn't think at
Full-time
least,
concession area.
yeah, I wouldn't say we have a full-time concession area where we're having to keep Gatorade stocked for different leagues and things like that. If they wanna come in and have a little concession area for their event, or if we could even hire out and be like, hey, we can run the concession area for this much or something like that.
percentage.
Then it could be done that way.
Mm-hmm.
But I would just say they can bring in, we can have some like racks or something like that, and some refrigerators to keep drinks cold in, but we don't need to keep stock of drinks and snacks and things like that for people's events.
I think it makes the most sense out of those three to be the first, just because of the revenue possibility. But, like we're discussing, it can vary widely as to how big or little those improvements are.
Right. So of those last three, making that the next one,
Yeah.
and then,
So we'll make percent of a concession area.
yeah.
Is that concession slash kitchen or just concession?
I think you have to contemplate both.
Yeah, I still think there's plenty of room in there for people. Because I think when we think commercial kitchen, we're thinking like if someone rents us for a wedding and they want to come in and,
Mm-hmm.
you know, have something there.
Talking
Or
about refrigeration systems and
there were some like, some vendors who were using the commercial kitchen, at the place over on Owen and Avenue that's now that massive daycare.
Mm-hmm.
And they lost that because now that's a kitchen area for the daycare and it's not rentable space. So I think there is a need for a commercial kitchen to be rented at times. And have to market it. I mean, people don't market it well.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even.
And I think the space when they rent it for like weddings and stuff, it can be an option in one of the plans. If you don't want the kitchen, then it's this price, and if you want
places
it,
do
then
that.
it's this, yeah.
so we need to do a little research on, it's a concession stand, it's a commercial kitchen, most used for, have kind of a hybrid of the two, so that, you don't flip a switch literally, but you put the counter down and now you're in a concession mode versus whatever. But as far as a priority, I think it's there. I know the Historical Society would love a gazebo stage over Arts Park.
Would they love to pay for it?
Well, they wouldn't
Yeah.
pay for it. Well, they might contribute, but
I think that would go next, and then
does everyone agree?
Mm-hmm.
And then last would be pickleball. So what I'll do is I'll get with Brad on pricing and realistic timeframes for some of this stuff, and maybe together we can come up with a schedule that looks like what's on the bottom of page 2, and then next time we meet or whenever we can, well, it needs to be next time we meet because we only have Monday prior to the second Tuesday of the month, or second Thursday rather, so our next meeting is the 10th.
Okay, next meeting is,
But
did we still want, I mean, the 10th is what we had always had done, and then we kind of thought, like, does that work for you?
I think it works for me. It,
so you have a class then.
Yeah.
You can't be in two places at once.
My class is pushed over, it's fine. I
What's
get done with it halfway through, so it's- all of it is like
So when you say you have
pre-class
a
work.
class, you can't be here when you're lying?
Yeah. He hasn't had a single test in there yet, or anything, it's all project based, and I already have half the project done, and it's due at the end of the year, so.
Well, I'd rather us have a time when you know you'll be free.
Yeah.
We have such a small board that
Well,
if two of us are unavailable, we just can't do anything, and that close to that deadline, that'll be a problem.
well, I get our class at 6:45 officially, and then,
It's a half hour back.
yeah, so.
Let's look at a different
7:15.
day.
Something I think we need to put on the front burner for the next meeting is potentially advertising here. I think that's one of our funding sources. Like if you go to the Aurora, like community centers, we have a lot of these community centers that are banner
City
signs,
Park.
and they pay for a year, because the meat of our programming, like the heart of our programming is throughout the winter here. And if we can really hit that hard in November and December and say, hey, you're gonna have advertising here for all of 2026. These are the programs we have, this is the nights we have stuff. And
They pay for the actual material and signage? Or how does that do that?
But you just price it in there, like you say, like, all right, it's a banner this size is this amount, and you gotta, like, all right, buy you $500 for the year. But you gotta know that banner is probably gonna cost you $100.
Sure.
You've got to know your margin on it. But I think we have, I think that's something that we're gonna do it, and it can be very lucrative. I think they said at Aurora, they bring in about $10,000 in banner sponsors, a year. So, I mean, that's
We set that up at the beach fair parking lot, it worked out well.
so
At which Aurora facility?
they have a community center, very similar to this,
Yeah.
but they have a gymnasium, and then they have like classrooms, and like some of their classrooms are like a weight room, and they have some of their classes for programming, and so it's very similar to
So
this.
was it just ads in the main area, or was it the other rooms as well?
It's mainly in the gym area. Yeah, but I think that's what they offer, is like you could advertise this at the gym or, in this room or that room, but mainly when you go into their gymnasium, they're massive banners on the wall, so.
Yeah, definitely add it to the agenda for next. With next time in mind, I'd like to meet, so we talked about our action plan priorities. I'll work on that with Brad, but we also were supposed to talk about potential funding sources, and that's not my strong suit. The DNR plan,
Can we put that together?
yeah,
Okay.
they specifically talk about that section in the DNR manual, so if you could look at that.
I mean, I'll just put it in, because ours is commercial sponsoring, partnering with other partners like Church League, like the players, group, if they wanna do some things here, I can list our partners, private funding, like I said, commercial funding, advertisements, and certain grants that I think align with our goals.
That's perfect, that's exactly what we need. So, can we set maybe a deadline for the first week of November to circulate that stuff amongst us, and I can incorporate it all into one final draft? I just don't wanna meet for the first time with that material on Monday prior to the Saturday it's due.
I'll try and get my section done before the end of the week.
This week, okay. Well, I was gonna shoot to have all mine done by the 3rd, which is that first month, so basically 2 weeks from now. And I can have, then if I have your stuff, I'll put it on in a final, well, in a more final version of the draft that I gave out. And I think if we have those two sections, I think we're pretty much there. We still have to decide decide on the pictures and the map and the layout, but that should be pretty easy. That's just personal preference at that point. Were there any specific typos or things that you saw in the current draft that you want to change?
The only typo that I saw is in the town of Vernon, whenever it's stating the overview of the population median age and things. It says average family size 2.5, 2 people.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that's right or not.
I can question some other things on that, like,
You mean,
It says
is 2.5 an allowable number?
No, it says 2.5 and then 2 people,
Oh.
like the number 2 and then people. So I don't know if that's a typo because then on the other side, when it's talking about North Vernon, it doesn't have 2 people.
There's something else on there that I question.
Oh, yeah. That needs to be removed.
It's like our school age.
Oh, I saw that too. I was
Definitely not that many kids get picked up at bus stops here.
kindergarten to 12th grade enrollment 80.6%.
That's the North Vernon.
No, there was
There's a-
unrealistic for our.
There's 64.7% for Vernon, yeah.
Yeah, 64% of our population is not
Shoot.
school age. So I had to say like, do we have 6% of our population? Yes, school age kids, so.
I think there's, 2 buses that come through here? That's it.
Here, the one I've been out here in the morning, they pick up like 12 kids maybe. But how many, they pick up you, your kids, but then.
Well, Indian Hills.
I only one that
does-
goes out Vernon.
Yeah, I don't know where that number is. Is that the number of
I don't know if that counts.
school-age children that are enrolled?
K to 12th grade enrollment is 64.7%.
I think that's 64% of this population?
That's what it,
It's,
Where does it mean 64, how many people from kindergarten to 12th grade, 64 of those in that age range are in school?
yeah, that was my question. Of kindergarten to 12th grade age children, 65% of them are enrolled.
That's pretty bad.
It is bad. It's also, I think, illegal unless you.
I don't know.
I mean,
That's
as
the
long as
one
they're like a
survey,
junior.
like, this doesn't.
Junior to senior, once they're 16, they can,
So of our population, I took it as of our population of 224 people, which I think is not.
I'll figure out what that's.
It's saying, no,
I don't think it's 16
100,
anymore.
140%, or 140 of those kids are school age. So, I don't
I
know.
mean, there's not,
Well, what's the-
my graduating class was 280 people, so, and a lot of those come from Scipio.
Well, if it means as a population, then yeah, 146.
Roughly 140 something.
Yeah, there's not that many kids in town.
No.
Or in North Vernon for that matter. 81% of North Vernon is K to 12. Okay, I'll clarify that. What, any other typos, changes, additions?
I read it and for like more substance and I.
Well, sure, that's what I mean as well. And we still have some time over the next couple of weeks to look through it and mark it up and send some feedback.
Also, Vernon,
It's,
my son should be on there. Hopefully they can turn the light out.
Sorry.
Viewership might not be
Sorry. Who's messing with our lights
what an outstanding person is. All right, so I think we're at a good spot. So you, just to recap, you were going to look at the potential funding section. You're going to put that together. I'll get with Brad, get the action plan, time and prices together. You're going to have that done by the end of the week or so, and I'll get this. I don't know if at the end of the week, but I'll send it out to everyone's email. In the meantime, as you read through that, if there are changes, additions, comments, whether they're typos or whatever, just send it my way, and I'll incorporate it all into one that we can review at our next. I don't think we can meet again before our scheduled meeting because we have to give notice. So
up with something else. I created, after my position as mayor, I said no to a lot of stuff, and I've created some bad habits of watching too much television. And
You're just catching up from the last couple of years.
I mean, seriously,
All right. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about related to the plan?
no, so once we get this itemized, like you said, in the budget,
Mm-hmm.
and then funding sources, does that just go in like page 34?
Yeah, so that's specifically back in, I didn't put the page numbers in my copy, but yeah, it goes back under the
Priorities and actions?
priorities and action schedule.
Okay.
And
35 is, page 36 was potential sources of funding. Okay. Map, does someone want to do a map or see if we have?
yeah, I'll talk to Brad about that. I mean, if anybody has a nice map, but I think somebody, like he said, somebody will have to spend a little time to do the shading. I guess, like some of the side up a lot, but I guess I can give it a shot. I need to figure out what they want on the map. But, okay. Well, I might make some.
And the map, is it just like where these spots are? Or does it mean like he wants us, they want us to map out our, like a diagram of the parks? Like, so that's a very different types of maps.
Yeah, there's a whole section on sourcing. It even talks about different programs and lots of links. Okay.
Side note, I looking at that on, you've decided that the town decided that Wednesday is gonna be an open gym night to make this facility open to the public for just open gym, shooting basketball. They don't have to rent it, it'll be a shared space, all that. And I think we decided that from like 3 to 9. And the idea was like, can we get it staffed with volunteers? My suggestion was that between the park board, the mayor's position, and the town council, that's 8 people, that we each would just take a day, and then maybe we would not have to do another Wednesday until 9 weeks later. Would you guys be willing to do that? Like, I don't know if you're available, like from 3 to 9, just be here and have the facility open in case someone has an injury or someone needs something or whatever, that we're staffing it with volunteers. And then we can get other volunteers, so maybe we don't even need to do it that often, but it gives us a pool of 8 immediate people. Or a family member, or you send your husband over.
You know me so well.
Send Josh.
Yeah.
I signed you up for this.
We request several different maps. I'll have to look through this in more detail. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but it wants a map of all the streets, with the names to scale, with the recreation sites easily located. It also wants include a map of the planning area. If you're planning, if possible, map will be included one ago. That was approximate scale. So there's a few that they want. It also wants maps illustrating land use, growth patterns, types of development. So I'll work on that one. I've got some more.
You want me to take a map to do the scale? Take park. Something simple, at least to take out your ends.
I think we need, I don't know what Haley has in there. Look. Materials, photos, charts. She doesn't have any label, but Anything else before we adjourn? Okay, we are adjourned as of 7:44.
Oh, yeah, I'll get, you know, lights.
Get it,
Well, but I've got them.
Yeah, please.
First,
Wayne, he doesn't shut up.
I mean, literally, but I mean, I don't even think he took a breath. He just had.
He doesn't ever be quiet.